I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Oh, well played. Well played. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Napoleonic Wars channel. Ever since the news came out in October 2022 that Ridley Scott was working on a hotly anticipated biopic of Napoleon's life, we've been itching to see the trailer. And it's finally here. Out on Thanksgiving 2023 in the US and on UK release on the 24th of November. It's starring Joaquin as Napoleon, Jodie as Josephine, directed by Ridley, and looks frankly epic in scale. Let's take a look.
No doubt you've seen the chaos in the streets. We must make an example, or France will fall.
What would you do if this assignment of defense was transferred to you?
I promise you brilliant successes.
Everyone around here.
What is this costume you have on?
This is my uniform.
Everyone's so near.
I led the French victory at Toulon.
What is your name?
Napoleon.
As the course of my life just changed. Napoleon.
I'm destined for greatness. But those in power will only see me as a sword.
I suggest you take the throne as a king.
Holding on.
Shall we vote?
This vermin has held the world hostage with his egotism and his lack of simple good manners.
You think you're great. You are just a tiny little brute that is nothing without me.
All Europe is uniting forces against me.
What's the outcome of this if you don't succeed?
Your Majesty, we are discovered.
Good.
It's a trap!
I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Oh, well played. Well played. Okay, I'm impressed by that. I'm properly impressed by that. It's stunning visually, absolutely beautiful. A lot of the images that we saw early on of the production seemed to suggest that it was quite small scale, and there were a lot of people kind of going, "Ooh, I'm not really sure about the battle scenes," but boy, does it look incredible. The sass with Josephine, I think they're playing a blinder there. One of the things that often gets pushed to the side is this idea of kind of not tonight, Josephine. And that's about as much as people know about Josephine. But Josephine was really instrumental in kind of making Napoleon almost palatable to French society. So that line there, you're nothing without me, that's brilliant. And it's quite kind of warts and all. Let's go through it again and we'll have a little look at it kind of blow by blow, and just sort of see the little sort of bits and bobs and comment on some of those. So here it is for a second time. Okay, so what we've got going on here is this is probably the execution of Marie Antoinette in late 1793. And the idea being, as you're going to see, look, watch Joaquin's face really carefully for Napoleon's reaction, because this is really interesting in terms of how they're kind of playing his sort of support for the revolution. So watch his face carefully.
No doubt you've seen the chaos in the streets. We must make an example, or France will fall.
So if it's not Marie Antoinette, that it's quite clearly a French aristocrat, and what they're looking at here is kind of the terror, the mass executions that were taking place of the aristocrats as French society almost sort of implodes under the revolution.
What would you do with this society?
But see his face there. It's not like everybody else. He's not baying for blood. He's looking at this and is kind of uneasy, which is really true of what Napoleon was like during the revolution. You know, he kind of sided with the Jacobins a bit. He also had his doubts, and he really didn't like the mob. So watch as this plays out.
The assignment of defense was transferred to you.
Right, so this is the famous whiff of grape shot moment. And actually what they're doing here is they're overplaying it. So they're kind of conforming to the classic depiction of Napoleon's life, which is all about, you know, Napoleon firing on the crowd. It's a really kind of brutal moment. In actual fact, his role was quite small in the whole thing. He was in charge of the artillery, but he's not the big kind of cog in what makes this happen. But they're playing on that kind of classic depiction, that the popular perception of Napoleon's life, and this is a big part of kind of the mythology, if you will. But look at the horror behind this. They're not shying away from this. This is kind of warts and all. See, civilians gunned down in the streets. They're kind of being really honest about this.
Everyone around here.
What is this costume you have on?
This is my uniform.
Brilliant. I think I'm going to love the dynamic between the two. You know, in 2023, they weren't going to make Josephine sort of the weak, shy, retiring type. They were going to be much more kind of honest with the fact that she was a force to be reckoned with in her own right.
I led the French victory at Toulon.
So you're getting just a hint of Napoleon's arrogance there. You know, I'm the big I am. I led the French victory at Toulon. He was key in it, but it's like, it's all about me. That's quite true of Napoleon. He is very egotistical.
What is your name?
Napoleon.
Has the course of my life just changed? Napoleon.
I don't know if that's sass or not. I'm not sure. Because obviously the Napoleon Josephine thing is meant to be one of the great love stories of history, right? But it's not like she's going, oh, Napoleon, I've fallen in love with you. It's like there's the bite back. I think the script writing for Josephine is going to be absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to see it in full and see how this dynamic plays out. Okay, so this has done the rounds a lot already on the internet. People kind of saying, look, the Battle of the Pyramids was actually fought about 9 miles away from where the pyramids are, not at their feet. Plus, everybody claims that Napoleon shot the nose off the Sphinx. Not true, but never mind. It looks insane. So, you know, bear in mind, people, this isn't a documentary. This is about the entertainment factor. And I've got to say, all of these battle sequences look absolutely stunning.
I'm destined for greatness.
Again, that kind of egotistical, I am destined for greatness. I am deserving of this.
Those in power will only see me as a sword.
I suggest you take the throne as king.
Holding on.
Shall we vote?
So 2 things with that. Firstly, love the line. Great one-liner. It's not really how the Brumaire coup plays out, which is what they're talking about here, 1799, when Napoleon's taking power. Actually, Napoleon mishandles it, and it's his brother who ends up saving the situation by calling in the troops. So they're doing the kind of the classic Napoleon's life story thing, but again, it's based on history. It's not a documentary, so allow them a bit of artistic license. He did crown himself, though. Again, they're being true about his character. You know, they've dug in this, and I love the swagger that Joaquin's got the whole way through all of these excerpts that we're seeing. You know, as somebody trying to sort of embody Napoleon, he's kind of got that right air about him. That is visually stunning, that coronation. They've got that absolutely on point. They're using the very famous portraits, and the money's clearly gone into costume design, probably a lot of CGI as well, but it absolutely pops.
This vermin has held the world hostage with his egotism and his lack of
I
simple
think that's meant
good
to be
manners.
Wellington there, who doesn't really become significant until much later. So that's interesting that they're sort of maybe inserting Wellington in there, but I'm not entirely sure. Wellington doesn't really rise to any significance until 1808, and none of what we're seeing goes any later than Austerlitz in 1805. So perhaps that's somebody else. Maybe that's a member of the British government there. This really hits me. Tyrant. So lover, tyrant. They're not just going for what I was expecting this to be, which was all kind of, I don't know, Vive l'Empereur and All Hail Napoleon. This is going to make you think hard about Napoleon and look at the good and the bad, and that's what's really exciting me about this.
You think you're great. You are just a tiny little brute that is nothing without me.
Best line of the entire trailer: "You are nothing without me." I can't wait to see this dynamic, because you've got two fantastic actors in Jodie Comer and Joaquin Phoenix. How are they going to navigate this complex relationship between Napoleon and Josephine?
All of Europe is uniting forces against me.
What's the outcome of this if you don't succeed?
Your Majesty, we are discovered.
Good.
Yeah, see, this again, a lot of people are kind of looking at this and going, "Oh, this is Napoleon myth." You know, this idea that he kind of creates this trap and fires, and millions of people drown in the frozen lake at Austerlitz. Actually, the evidence suggests that it's not really true, but you can sort of understand why they've gone with it, because in terms of storytelling, it's a really impressive story. It's the first thing actually that I learnt about Napoleon when I was a kid, and it was probably part of the reason why I wasn't too keen on him all the way through my life. But it's interesting that they are kind of playing out all of these things and really making you think about the guy.
I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Love the arrogance. Love it. Yeah, this is going to be incredibly exciting. I can't wait to see this come to cinemas. Roll on November. So Napoleon is going to hit your cinemas in the US on Thanksgiving 2023. That's the 23rd of November. UK release on the 24th of November 2023. It looks epic. It absolutely pops off the screen. Cannot wait to go and see this on the big screen. Folks, I've been Zack White. This has been the Napoleonic Wars channel. Take care. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon.